step back into the 1950s, a golden age where horror cinema was transformed. Fear took new shapes with alien invaders, radioactive monsters, and psychological chills. This decade redefined the genre, moving from Gothic castles to suburban nightmares. Join us as we count down 15 iconic films that forever changed horror. Number 1. Godzilla, 1954. Is it a monster or a profound warning? Our number 1 film is a haunting piece of cinematic catharsis. Directed by Ishirō Honda, Godzilla was born from a very real trauma: the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and the terrifying Lucky Dragon No. 5 incident, where a Japanese fishing boat was contaminated by nuclear fallout. The plot begins with mysterious ship disasters off Japan's coast. The cause is Godzilla, a prehistoric leviathan awakened and mutated by hydrogen bomb tests. He is a walking, fire-breathing metaphor for nuclear weapons' horrific, uncontrollable power. The iconic sound design, from his footsteps to his atomic breath, was crafted to instill pure dread. More than a creature feature, Godzilla is a stark, serious allegory that uses the monster genre to deliver a powerful, anti-nuclear message, ensuring its status as an unforgettable classic. Number 2. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1956. Imagine a horror that doesn't come with screams, but with silence. At number 2, we have Invasion of the Body Snatchers, a masterpiece of paranoia directed by Don Siegel. The film presents a chillingly simple premise. In a small California town, people are being replaced by perfect emotional duplicates grown from alien pods. While often interpreted as a critique of communist infiltration during the Cold War, the film more powerfully explores the fear of losing one's identity and humanity to conformist pressures. The real terror isn't the alien duplicates themselves, but the eerie calm with which they take over. The protagonist's desperate final plea to an uninterested world, "You're next," remains one of the most haunting cliffhangers in cinema history. It's a timeless warning against the sleep with reason, proving that the most profound horrors are the ones that look just like us. Number 3. The Thing from Another World, 1951. Before shape-shifting aliens, there was a towering, intelligent vegetable from the stars. At number 3, we have the film that set the blueprint for Arctic horror, The Thing from Another World. Directed by Christian Nyby, with a heavy influence from producer Howard Hawks, this classic pits a team of scientists and Air Force crew against a single, formidable enemy. A mysterious aircraft is discovered buried in the polar ice, and its pilot, a blood-drinking humanoid plant, is accidentally thawed. The film is a masterclass in tension, built not on gore, but on claustrophobic isolation and sharp, overlapping dialogue as the trapped heroes debate how to fight a being that seems to have no weakness. Its famous warning, "Keep watching the skies," perfectly captures the Cold War anxiety of the era, cementing its status as a foundational piece of sci-fi horror. Number 4. The Creature from the Black Lagoon, 1954. From the depths of the Amazon comes a timeless icon of monster design. At number 4, we dive into The Creature from the Black Lagoon. This film introduced the world to the Gill Man, a mesmerizing prehistoric humanoid discovered by a scientific expedition. What sets this film apart is its breathtaking underwater cinematography. The iconic sequences of the creature gracefully swimming beneath his human pursuers are both beautiful and terrifying, creating a strange sympathy for the monster. The Gill Man isn't just a mindless beast. He's a territorial creature defending his home from intruders. The film's 3D release made audiences feel they were right in the water with him, a tragic and sympathetic monster. The creature secured his place as the last of the Universal classic monsters and a legend of 1950 cinema. Number 5. The Fly, 1958. Brace yourself for one of cinema's most unforgettable and tragic endings. At number 5, we have The Fly, a film that masterfully blends science fiction with genuine body horror. The story follows a brilliant scientist, André Delambry, who invents a matter-transporting device. But a horrific accident occurs when a common housefly enters the teleportation pod with him. The result is a grotesque fusion of man and insect. We see his struggle through the eyes of his devoted wife Helene, building unbearable suspense. The film's true power lies not in its now famous makeup effects, but in its heartbreaking human drama. Andre's final, desperate act to preserve his last shred of humanity, and the haunting final cry of "Help me," elevates this from a simple monster movie to a shocking and poignant tragedy about scientific ambition gone terribly wrong. Number 6. House on Haunted Hill, 1959. Get ready for a party where the guests are the main attraction. At number 6, we enter the House on Haunted Hill, a deliciously campy and inventive chiller produced by the legendary William Castle. The film follows eccentric millionaire Frederick Loren, played with sinister charm by Vincent Price, who invites 5 strangers to a haunted mansion for a party. He offers them each $10,000 if they can survive the night. True to William Castle's showmanship, the film was famous for its in-theater gimmick, Emergo, which sent a glowing plastic skeleton flying over the audience. But beyond the gimmicks, the movie thrives on a wonderfully spooky atmosphere, clever plot twists, and Price's masterful performance, blurring the lines between host and mastermind. It's a spooky, fun-filled romp that remains a hallmark of classic horror entertainment. Number 7. The Curse of Frankenstein, 1957. Witness the film that brutally resurrected Gothic horror for a new generation. At number 7, we have The Curse of Frankenstein, the groundbreaking movie from Hammer Film Productions that shocked audiences with its then unprecedented levels of color and gore. This was not a repeat of the Universal classic. It was something darker and more visceral. The film stars Peter Cushing in a career-defining role as the arrogant and ambitious Baron Victor Frankenstein, a man willing to murder and grave rob to achieve his goal. Christopher Lee appears as the terrifying, tragic creature, a far cry from the sympathetic Karloff version. Its success single-handedly launched the iconic Hammer horror brand and cemented the legendary partnership of Cushing and Lee, forever changing the landscape of horror cinema with its bold and bloody vision. Number 8. Them, 1954. They are nature's most efficient killers, mutated into walking nightmares. At number 8, we confront Them, the definitive giant bug movie that set the standard for atomic age creature features. The film begins with a mystery in the New Mexico desert, strange prints, empty homes, and the haunting sound of something. The revelation that atomic testing has created colossal, radiation-mutated ants remains one of cinema's most chilling reveals. Them masterfully builds suspense, treating its initial investigation like a detective story before escalating into a full-scale urban crisis. The film's stark black and white cinematography and chilling sound design make the threat feel terrifyingly real. More than just a monster movie, it perfectly captured the era's deepest fear, that our own technology, in the form of the atomic bomb, could create monsters we could no longer control. Number 9. The Blob, 1958. Beware of the jelly that conquered the world. At number 9, we have The Blob, a drive-in classic that introduced the world to a young Steve McQueen. The premise is brilliantly simple. A gelatinous alien life form crashes to Earth and begins consuming everything in its path, growing larger and more unstoppable with every victim. What makes the Blob so enduring is its potent metaphor for teenage rebellion and the failure of adults to listen. Steve McQueen, in his first leading role, plays a teenager who must take charge when no one believes his warnings. The film's vibrant color and the Blob's simple, unstoppable nature created a unique and memorable monster. Its iconic theme song and the famous line, "The Blob terrorizes a community," cement its status as a fun, suspenseful monster. Number 10. Night of the Demon, 1957. Some curses are best left uninvestigated. At number 10, we have the masterful Night of the Demon, a film that proves true terror lies in the power of suggestion. Directed by Jacques Tourneur, this British horror classic follows a skeptical American psychologist, Dr. John Holden, who travels to London to debunk a satanic cult leader. He dismisses the idea of the supernatural until he learns his colleague died under mysterious circumstances and that he himself has been handed an ancient parchment, passing on a demonic curse that can only be stopped by a complex ritual. The film is a masterpiece of atmospheric dread, where shadows and sound design create most of the fear. While famously forced to show the demon in its climax, the film's true power lies in the psychological torment and the chilling possibility that rationalism is no defense against an ancient, malevolent force. It remains a towering achievement in supernatural horror. Number 11. Psycho, 1960. A new decade begins with a slash that changed cinema forever. Though technically released in 1960, Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho is the devastating final word on 1950s conformity and the monsters that can fester beneath it. The film shatters expectations from its first act, famously killing off its apparent protagonist, Marion Crane, in a scene that remains the most iconic murder in film history. The real horror, however, lies in the shy, boyish Norman Bates, masterfully portrayed by Anthony Perkins. Hitchcock peels back the layers of a seemingly normal motel to reveal a world of taxidermy, maternal tyranny, and fractured identity. The shocking finale, explaining Norman's psychosis, plunged audiences into the terrifying depths of the human mind. Psycho dismantled the safety of the everyday, proving that the most terrifying monsters aren't foreign invaders, but the ones we might just pass on the street. Number 12. The Bad Seed, 1956. What if evil was born, not made? At number 12, we meet a monster in pigtails with the bad seed. This chilling psychological thriller dares to ask a terrifying question. Can a child be a natural-born killer? The film centers on 8-year-old Rhoda Penmark, the perfect image of pigtailed, polite innocence. But when a schoolmate mysteriously drowns, her mother, Christine, begins a horrifying investigation into her daughter's true nature. Rhoda, portrayed with unsettling calm by Patty McCormack, becomes one of cinema's most memorable villains. The film broke new ground by directly confronting themes of hereditary evil and psychopathy in a child. Its controversial, studio-mandated ending does little to soften the blow of its core horror, that the most unspeakable evil can hide behind the most innocent smile, forever shaking our trust in the very concept of childhood innocence. Number 13. The House of Wax, 1953. Step right up and see horror in glorious 3D. At number 13, we enter The House of Wax, a landmark film that brought Vincent Price to horror stardom and became a defining spectacle of the 1950s. Price stars as Professor Henry Jared, a brilliant but disfigured sculptor driven mad after his wax museum is destroyed. He reemerges, with a new terrifying exhibit, using a grisly new method to create his statues, dipping real murdered victims in wax. Beyond its inventive plot, the film was a massive technical achievement. It was one of the first major studio productions filmed in 3D and featured the novel stereo sound process, Warner Phonic. From the paddleball man to the can-can dancers, its scenes were designed to leap at the audience. A vibrant, macabre, and influential classic, The House of Wax solidified Price as a horror icon and proved that terror could be a thrilling multi-sensory experience. Number 14, Diabolique, 1955. Prepare for a masterclass in suspense where the real horror is human nature. At number 14, we have the French psychological masterpiece, Diabolique. Directed by Henri-Georges Clouzot, this film is a chilling tale of a meticulously planned murder. The frail wife and the tough mistress of a cruel boarding school headmaster conspire to drown him and dispose of the body in the school's filthy swimming pool. But their plan takes a terrifying turn when the pool is drained and the body vanishes. What follows is a nerve-shredding descent into paranoia and guilt, filled with unnerving sounds and ghostly suggestions. Diabolique is famous for its shocking twist ending and its plea to audiences not to reveal the secrets. A profound influence on Alfred Hitchcock and countless thrillers to come. This film proves that the most diabolical schemes are ultimately no match for the human conscience. Number 15, The Day the Earth Stood Still, 1951. A saucer lands in Washington, D.C., but the true invasion is a warning. At number 15, we have The Day the Earth Stood Still, a film that redefined the alien visitor narrative. A humanoid named Klaatu and his powerful robot, Gort, come to Earth not with conquest, but with an ultimatum. Abandon your violent, nuclear ways or be eliminated as a threat to other peaceful planets. This is cerebral, Cold War-era horror at its finest. The fear isn't from a monster, but from our own reflection. Klaatu's message holds a mirror to humanity's self-destructive nature. The film's iconic phrases, Klaatu Barada Nikto, and the terrifying silent power of Gort created a new archetype. It elevated science fiction horror from simple creature features to thoughtful, socially conscious cinema, proving that the most terrifying threat could be our own inability to change. From atomic nightmares to Gothic chills, the 1950s forged horror's new identity. These 15 classics didn't just scare audiences. They mirrored our deepest anxieties and reshaped the genre forever. Their legacy continues to inspire, proving that true terror is truly timeless. Thanks for watching.